Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 187. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John. I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Excellent. I can't wait to talk about our content tonight. Super excited.
Excellent. Already excellent. Yep. Already the puns.
Excellent.
Hmm.
Ah,
Yep. And we have Pete back as well. How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Of course. Okay. So today we are going to talk about X-Men 97 and maybe some X-Men just in general as well, or whatever we can get to. But and we'll be spoilery about that. So hopefully you've seen X-Men 97, the Disney Plus series, when we get to that bit. But just before we get there, we're going to talk about a little bit about what we've been watching, what else we've been watching. And Andrea, do we have any drink holidays?
we
Ooh.
have a bunch of drink
Oh,
holidays.
okay. Because I
Yes.
was like in the document here and not seeing any drink holidays. Like, either we should have a different list, like
Yes.
we are contributing to different pages. Is that what's happening?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So ain't no thing, because I got them all pulled up, and actually today is the very last drinking holiday for June. So it's just fortunate that we picked today to do our podcast.
All right.
But yeah, running it back a little bit to mid-June, June 14th is a double holiday. It's either National Rosé Day, if you're a rosé all day kind of person, or it's Bourbon Day. So,
Oh,
Okay.
kind of different things, kind of different feels, if you will, to the
Yeah.
drink holiday, but choose your poison. Then on June 19th, it was Martini Day. On June 20th, my wedding anniversary, I find this very funny. It was day drinking day, which is just like a very random holiday, and you can do whatever you want. There are no laws, just like my marriage. Just kidding. Just kidding. June
yikes.
21st. June 21st. It was Lambrusco Day. And today, the final drinking holiday of June, it is Sazerac Cocktail Day. So quite the
That's
lineup
not,
of things to
what is
choose
that?
from.
That sounds like a made up word, Sazerac.
Sazerac, no, it
No.
is not. John's like, no, how dare you insult.
No. Was it Klingon whiskey? What are we talking about here?
It's a drink of the South, I think of
Okay.
Yes, New Orleans in
Louisiana.
particular. Hmm.
Hmm. And it has absinthe in it is one of the things that people are
Oh,
like,
dear.
oh, it has
Yep,
absinthe.
absinthe, rye whiskey, simple syrup, bitters, and lemon for garnish.
Goodness.
So
That's like
it's a
the
good
base
drink.
recipe, and I know you can do a lot of like variations and twists on it. But yeah.
Yes, here's our I don't know how I was contributing to the wrong list, but okay then.
How dark are those sunglasses?
Yeah, exactly, right? Hmm. They are prohibitive in the peripheral vision, yes. But okay, well, Andrew, are you celebrating any of these things?
I am. I am. I don't know if you can still call it day drinking, even if it's daylight out. So maybe I'm celebrating that. But I'm also celebrating Bourbon Day. And I have a Mandarin bourbon smash cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That
It
sounds
is
good.
delicious.
Yeah, that sounds great. Um, so ingredients, mandarin, I
Yes.
assume,
Yes.
and
You take a
oranges.
whole mandarin, you put about a teaspoon of sugar and muddle that together. Then you do about half a shot of lemon juice, Aperol, and 2 ounces of bourbon. Shake that up, pour it out into your glass with ice, and then put some club soda.
Okay. Can I see the drink again? Let's see
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Okay. Can we just call it the sunspot? We call it the
Yeah,
sunspot.
hell yeah.
I feel like
Is
that.
that a
Here's
Transformers
to the
reference?
sunspot.
Yeah, I don't know. It needs like some maybe some dark spots in there, some cherries or something
Right. Yeah. No, I need a little black
nice.
ink.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, no, I'd be cool with that. I enjoyed that character, so
Very nice.
he's not my
Pete,
faves, but he's up.
sure. Pete, do you have a drinking vessel that's special tonight or anything?
I'll see if you can. This is from the Wayback Machine, John.
Okay.
Mm.
It's the yellow soda.
Walking Dead, huh? Nice.
Coral.
Rick, yeah.
But do you remember the story?
No.
This is the glass that Andrea's husband won
Mm-hmm.
at a Christmas party, and I stole it from
Ah.
him because I
Yes,
was so
indeed.
disappointed that I did not receive it. And then I held it for ransom. I would taunt him and I would drink from his glass
Mm-hmm. I remember.
over Zoom calls, and then I gave it back, and he graciously bought my own. So this is mine, but I thought I would bring it out of the display case
I love it.
That's great.
and tell the story once again for the masses, for all of our fans out there.
Blast
That's great.
blast from the past, just like our show tonight.
So I have to assume that was the Walking Dead themed party then.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he got that glass because we won best costume.
Okay.
Oh, I was disappointed in that because you
I was
you were
Lucille.
dressed as Lucille. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way, and I was I
Come on, that
was
was so
the
impressive.
American
Chris
Werewolf in
lifted me and
London.
held me like Lucille.
Yeah. There was some, coordination, right? Was at the party where I was dressed up as the American Werewolf in London and might have placed top three, even though I had an amazing hairy werewolf dickie under my shirt
Yes.
that I was very proud
Yes.
of. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's been a minute. Okay. Very nice. I like it. Well, I have these. Again,
Ooh.
I use this occasionally. It doesn't work so well to showcase, but these are the
No.
glasses Alan got, and I like them a lot. But the drink isn't anything fancy to see, and it's actually supposed to be. So I'm breaking rules here, Andrea. Firstly, I didn't see. I was contributing to the wrong show notes list, so I was just going out there
Shame.
with whatever
Shame.
I can get. I had no idea if it was like contributing to a bidet or not. And then secondly, um, these are supposed to. This is supposed to be in a shot. The recipe makes 2 shots, so I'm just
Mm.
having it as a drink. And
Okay.
then thirdly, and most importantly, I'm crossing universes because I'm going to the
My
Batman
God.
cocktail book. Really, just making a mess of things.
Who is this bad boy John tonight? My goodness.
So I'm making
Like I
the. I
said,
made the.
laws don't apply.
That's right. I made the batarang. So the batarang is.
On
Sounds
X-Men
cool. It
night?
better be cool.
I know. I know. It's mint leaves, gin, scotch, lemon juice, simple syrup, and orange bitters.
It's gin and scotch.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
did not see that coming.
Yep. It describes it here. The Batarang is a non lethal, multifunctional tool that Batman uses in his crusade for justice. Gotham City
However,
bartenders took this as inspiration for a style of shot they secretly send to one another via courier while they are on shift. The receiving party then sends the same drink or a similar one back. Think of it as a liquid high five, a vital drink for Gotham City bartenders to have in their arsenals.
that beverage sounds quite lethal,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I do like the description of a liquid high five. That was pretty
Yeah.
fun.
That's good. So, okay. So, cheers. So, Corona.
Cheers.
Carl. Oh, I'll do it this way. Carl.
Coral.
Oh, it's good. Yep. It's tasty. I can see that'd be a good go-to shot to make to make for people. Everybody's like, "Oh, have Fireball or something," It's like, "Nah, let's class it up. Batarang."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next party.
Mhm. Okay. What have we been watching? Pete, anything that's barely been interesting that
Uh,
you've seen television or movie
Murderbot.
wise? Oh,
Oh, how
okay.
is that?
It's a half-hour comedy,
Yeah.
and every time the episodes end, I'm like, just give me the whole season. I want to watch the whole thing. Let's go. This waiting a week thing is uh, not doing it for me. So I enjoy it. It's an interesting premise. It gets wacky at times. There's really good effects, and I still don't know which way it's going to go. And I think we're 5 or 6 episodes into the season. So
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'd
Mhm.
seen that around. I even told Ashley about it because she's like Alexander Skarsgård is like, there is a show on Apple that
he's
has
the
him.
guy. Yeah. So
Yep.
he's a security unit, and he spends all of his free time trying to hack into his governor. That's preventing him from, you know, acting out on his AI impulses. And
Mhm.
one day he's like, "Holy shit, it worked!" And so now he doesn't have his governor anymore. And
Huh.
then the story takes off from there.
Mayhem.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, maybe, yeah, that would be fun to try. Apple's got a lot of shows that I just I don't know. They
I know,
they
I never
rate
quite get
well.
around to.
Everybody says they're good, yeah,
Yeah,
but
we've been really spotty about getting there. I mean, we've done a few
mhm.
things, but yeah,
Yeah, Slow Horses
Apple
everybody
just
talks about. Severance,
yep,
obviously.
Severance, yeah, of course.
Severance,
Mhm.
Watched
fantastic.
we watched
Uh,
Physical. That was really good.
The
oh
first
yeah,
season. Yeah, the first
first
season
Yeah,
season
was
I
was
mean,
good.
fantastic.
we haven't done the second, so yeah.
Mhm.
Can't say about the whole
It
thing. First season was great.
we finished the series,
Okay.
and then several months later, Steph's like, "Is there another episode of Physical?" I'm like, "No, it ended." She's like, "That was the end?" Like, yeah. So season one, great, and then okay after that.
Okay.
Okay,
Good to know.
yeah. I like that Apple sticks with their things, you know? Even if the first season doesn't blow up the world, they, you know, give it a couple
They
more
give it a
seasons or something like
yeah,
that, yeah.
they give it another shot.
Mhm. So, okay, well, they're very good. That's awesome. Um, Andrea, how about you?
Yeah, I am apparently about movies right now because I watched a bunch and most of them starring Aaron Taylor Johnson. Because I'm
Oh,
gearing up for 28 years later. Um, yeah. So I watched Netflix decided that I needed to be recommended Craven the Hunter. So
oh,
I was like, what the hell? Let's watch it. Never seen it. And I know it got like kind of mixed reviews. So I decided to give it a watch.
That's
And
putting it kindly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It has so many glimmers of potential.
yeah,
And
Okay.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is way too good for that movie. Like
Okay.
the writing of that movie, like he's a great character. And there are moments when you're just like, almost,
yeah,
almost. And then yeah, it really like doesn't live up to its potential. Ariana DeBose also is too good for that movie. She is a fantastic actress. She's like his kind of like lawyer sidekick, maybe love
yeah.
interest. She's too good for that movie. Russell Crowe is not too good for that movie. He was terrible.
Oh, I didn't know he
He
was
was
in it.
awful. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
he's his father.
yeah.
He's his father. Woof. Bad, 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 bad. One of his very, very worst performances, I would say.
Wow. Huh. Okay.
Um, so yeah,
And for him, it's if he's only okay, then you think it's really really bad, but just kind of a tired character, trope.
yeah,
Where like, oh, he's
it
the
is. It
over
is. He has zero to work
demanding
with, but
father.
yeah, he has 0 to work with, but he doesn't do anything with the very, very little
Mhm.
crumbs he's given either, so,
Mm,
just
okay.
poor all around. But there's some definitely cool effects and, like I said, some glimmers of where they could have had it, but yeah, it just really falls flat.
Like glimmers as in
Um,
like the sheen of light off of Aaron Taylor Johnson's abs. Is that what?
right, the sweat, yeah. As he runs and rolls over and falls and gets up shirtless, yes,
Mhm,
yes. Oh,
mhm.
no, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The Rhino was terrible in that
oh,
movie. So
so
that's
bad.
twice they've failed at trying to bring the
Yeah.
Rhino to the big screen.
It
And
doesn't
then,
seem like one that would work.
It
come on, it can. If they can make the Hulk,
it
they can
and
make Rhino. I
it
mean,
Okay.
again, it almost works until he goes, like, full Rhino, and then it's terrible.
yeah,
Do
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, the moments where it's, like, halfway and he's trying to prevent that transformation, it's really cool. They just don't have the budget to have him go all the way and look good at all.
I guess. I mean, to be fair, like it took them how many times to get Ben Grimm the thing right? And I haven't
Mm,
seen the new movie, obviously, but in the previews, like that's
looks
what he's
great,
supposed to
yeah.
look like.
He looks right.
Mhm.
Yeah, he looks right.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's for sure.
he
Yes.
looks comic book accurate, and that's what I want.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
Rhino has yet to look comic book accurate.
Super fair. Super fair. So
Also, in
yeah,
the
I watched
Craven, his
oh, yeah,
brother is the chameleon.
Chameleon.
And how many
Yeah.
times do you get to see the chameleon? For how long? Bloop, like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was
He could have been
it
the
was
chameleon all along. And
I was gonna say it was such a good like twist and like in an obvious way. Do you know what I mean?
mhm.
And it could have been done way earlier. Like there was a whole movie drug out and like it could have been super cool. But no.
Yeah. Okay.
Wasted. Just wanted more.
And yeah, I don't know if they were trying to set up for like multiples. And
Yeah,
so like
because
thinking like another, but like the first movie is too bad for
You
that.
gotta nail the first one. That's the focus on
Yeah,
one at a time. That's
exactly.
but it was
Exactly. You
Sony's
can't save all
attempt
your
to like
coolness.
try to make that Sinister Six movie,
Mhm.
and they've all lost
yeah.
so much money
Yeah.
Yeah.
outside of maybe Venom 1 and 2. But
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those made money. The Venom movies made money, which
Yeah.
always was like, I haven't seen any of them. It always kinda shocked me. They didn't look good to me, but, some
Venom
people have
1
said
was mediocre at best.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, it was fine.
And it's so
okay.
hard
And
to
it was
do a Venom movie without Spider-Man. Like, he
yeah.
doesn't look right, but there's no reason to have the white spider across his chest,
I never
right?
liked the good guy Venom or sort of
Sure.
anti-hero Venom. I never liked that.
Mhm.
Venom's a bad guy. And so I just didn't think this take was
Yeah.
necessary of kind of buddy cop or something. We're pals. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. You know,
Yeah,
it's yeah.
Yeah.
not great.
Something I watched that was great with Aaron Taylor Johnson, Bullet Train.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
I
hadn't seen that one
rewatched it.
before? Oh, you rewatched
No, I
yeah, I was
rewatched
say
it
I thought
because
okay,
because
yeah,
we
yeah.
covered it, but yeah, Chris hadn't seen it
Okay.
when we covered it, so I rewatched it
Okay.
because Netflix was also like, "You might like Bullet Train." And I was like, "I would." Um,
You already know Netflix. I saw it. It was great.
I was like, I'll take some like way better fare after watching Craven the Hunter after you made me suffer through that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I watched Bullet Train. I watched Fall Guy, which was absolutely excellent, also with Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Oh
which
yeah.
I did not know. Yeah, he's like the main star that
Yeah,
um
Ryan
yeah.
Gosling body doubles for him, stunt double.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. Yep. So plus Hannah Waddingham is in that and she's the agent and she's oh gosh, she's so good. She's so like slimy and just twisty.
Yep.
Um
Yeah, I like
so
that
yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
What was the
really
other
good.
one? The Gorge. Did you watch that with him in it?
No, I haven't
Mm,
watched that.
Is that what
that's
it's called?
that's not Aaron Taylor He's in that too?
Yeah.
He's not the
Gore.
main because the main guy is the kid from Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, am I completely wrong? Then I'm
That's the
Oh,
completely
main
wrong.
guy. Miles
yeah,
Teller.
Miles
It
Teller,
was
yeah.
Miles Teller in the Gorge.
Yeah.
Gorge. I
Which
don't
is
know what that
another
one's
Apple
called.
show that I need or movie I wanted to watch. And yeah, I remember you
It's
saying
a
that.
it's
Oh,
a
I
decent
do. I do. Okay.
shooting and
Okay.
punching.
Yeah. Anya
Yeah.
Taylor
Yeah, they're
Joy
the
and
same guy. They're the
Yeah.
exact same guy.
Mhm.
Definitely not, because only one of them's in the running spot right now.
Ah, fine. My
Okay,
mistake.
yeah.
Yeah, I've wanted to see Fall Guy. I
Sorry
mean,
to
I've
Miles
wanted to see
Teller and Aaron Taylor Joy Johnson. Yeah, Anya Taylor, that other guy.
He's a
The
man
guy
woman
with three names. We're best friends. Totally know who he is.
now.
I've wanted to see Fall Guy just because I've heard people say it's really good, but it just
It
didn't
is.
interest me. But yeah,
It's solid. I mean, you don't have to turn on a big chunk of your thinking brain, but it is a very solid movie.
okay,
Something you definitely don't need to turn on your thinking brain for is Twisters, which I also watched for
okay.
funsies.
I heard
And
people like that too.
that is good, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to turn on your thinking brain.
Sure,
It's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
straightforward. You go
yeah.
chase twisters, you get in them, you try to survive.
No, no, this
You
this
know,
tornado has sharks in it. Oh no.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that is part of it where Glenn Powell's character is a tornado wrangler, and he's like, "I want to shoot rockets up this tornado because my YouTube followers told me to," and like, oh Jesus, and it's kind of dumb, but it's kind of like funny too. So
Sure.
yeah. So it was good. It was good entertainment. It was half background, half TV, half like I was entertained. So
Okay.
nothing bad.
Nice.
And then moved incrementally forward, watched an episode of Andor, and also watched the first episode of season 3 of The Gilded Age because I'm a nerd and I love historical fiction. I love Julian Fellows, who created Downton Abbey, and this is his like American version, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Premiere episode of season 3, huh? Okay.
Indeed, indeed.
So one more episode of Andor. Okay. Well,
Yes,
I don't
yes.
approve of this rate of progress, but
I know, but I have to wait for Chris, and it's very difficult.
yeah.
It's much easier to watch all these movies on my own than it is to
Yeah.
wrangle.
I thought there were no rules in your marriage.
Yeah.
Only rules about television, everything else.
Yeah,
Forget
those are sacred.
it.
Mhm. Well, nice. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I swear.
Yep. Well, while we were away, it was Friday the 13th. So I watched Friday the 13th.
Very nice.
Mhm.
And
Can you be more specific?
The OG,
the first one.
All
1980.
which I
Yep.
can see here from your notes. That's why.
Yeah.
Since somebody
Yeah.
finally caught up to the right page.
I I've never seen the whole thing beginning
What?
to end. So
Oh,
now I
really?
have, and we're going to be going to Universal later in the year,
Oh
and
no!
Halloween
So
Horror
jealous.
Nights will be going, and this is one of the houses.
Ah, fun.
So
That's gonna be cool.
yeah, hmm it's gonna be awesome.
Have you seen Friday the 13th Part 2?
No, this is. I think this is the only. I don't think I've ever seen any Friday the 13th to my memory.
Really? Really?
Yeah, like if I have, it was
Wow.
like
Does your
in
wife know
bits and
this?
pieces. Yeah, I think so. I think so. So, which ones would you recommend I watch?
The first 3. It's
Okay,
the evolution of Jason.
okay,
Mhm.
And I still believe that if it wasn't for the final scene of the first movie, there wouldn't be a franchise. Yeah,
okay, sure, yeah,
that final scene made the whole movie, got everybody talking, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
And then second one is the first appearance of a fully grown Jason, and he's running around in the pillowcase, and that is really fucking creepy. So
Mhm.
that's cool to see. And when you said that they're going to have a Friday the 13th house, there's some stuff going on in the second movie that I would love to see in that house. So that's why I asked.
Okay,
Sure.
okay. Well, I'll try to make sure I get to that one, anyways.
Yeah, the hockey
I
mask doesn't show up until the third movie.
Okay, yeah, it's crazy. It's not what I expected from the first one, and
Hmm.
Ashley and I were both like, because she didn't remember it well either. Then it was like, just drag her.
Yeah, it's
Just
been a
what are you
while.
doing? Like to drag the old hag. She's
Hmm.
so effective for a while, and then in the open, when she's known, it's just like take her out. So yeah, but it was a good time. I liked it.
I
So
heard a legend about the reason why they got Jason's hockey mask. Uh,
Hmm.
on the third movie, they were filming outdoors and they had to white balance the camera, and they were looking for anything they could use, sheet of paper that was white, and they didn't have it. And the guy said, "Oh, I got a hockey mask in my back of my car." I'm like, "Well, let's use it." And they go, "How would this look?" I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I might be misremembering it,
Huh.
but I thought there was the color balancing of the camera on a hockey mask, and then like let's run with it. I mean, it's
that sounds cool.
Cool.
yeah.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Let's just say it
Sometimes,
is.
like
Yeah,
sometimes, like, freak accidents turn out to be the coolest, you know?
yeah.
Just, like, random stuff that you're like, "We didn't really mean to do this, but what the hell?"
The
This is
William Shatner mask for Halloween, turn it inside out and spray paint it, or
Yeah.
they just spray paint it. I think they just spray painted it.
I think they just spray painted it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hadn't heard that either. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fun.
That one I
Yeah,
know.
the whole thing was they were going to have Michael Myers either as like a crazy evil clown or something else, but they didn't know what else. So the prop guy went down, and I think it was like after Halloween sale, not paying full price for these props, and he found a William Shatner mask and spray painted the face white, and that was just something about it, just the
Creepy.
emotionless. Yeah,
Huh.
like
Nothing.
this
Yeah.
works.
Cool. That's fun.
And then now the franchise was lost or launched.
Okay. Oh, slip of the tongue.
I mean,
That's
it's been lost, but not at the beginning.
And it comes back like Michael Myers comes back
yeah.
from the
Like a
dead. Like,
serial killer.
and it's great movie, okay movie. The third movie was really good. It just shouldn't have been called Halloween. And then
hmm
the Pink Panther trilogy, because I read online that it's the same three subtitles, like the Pink Panther Strikes Back, the Return of the Pink Panther, and
Oh,
it's the
funny.
same
I gotcha.
thing
I
as
gotcha.
the Return of Michael Myers, the
That's funny.
Michael Myers in the Pink Diamond or whatever. But
A pink diamond. Like,
the
say it's
Curse of
suddenly like
Michael
a
Myers, that's what it is.
I was gonna say it's a Nancy Drew book or something.
Right,
Just
right.
like uh,
Very nice. Well, sticking on the horror theme, in preparation for 28
yeah.
Years Later, I watched 28 Weeks Later. Um, I'd seen, I'd not seen it maybe since the theater. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
Mm,
2007 film, and I remember going to that myself, uh, and liked it a lot.
mhm,
Hmm.
And it was after that that I ended up watching 28 Days Later, like that a lot as well. But I've seen that a
mhm.
couple times now, and I just didn't remember years later or weeks later much. So I didn't remember the ending. A lot of the pieces I ended up recalling as it went, but
Did you
I still
remember
think it
the
holds up.
opening?
Ugh.
I no, I did not.
Wow.
I mean, I remember the like kind of drone at the time, probably
Yeah.
helicopter shot over, he's
Yes.
running. I remember that, but I don't
Loved
remember
it.
the abandoning like that.
The
And
kids or the wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Mhm.
remember that.
Ugh. Brutal.
So a lot of big stars in there. Idris Elba, I didn't know who that was at the time.
Yeah.
He's in
Mhm.
there,
Renner.
you know?
Renner was in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and of course Rose Byrne. So but yeah, I like it. It holds up to I thought about it. I didn't remember the year it came out. But I was like, this has a born supremacy kind of
Mm,
feel to it, like the color and the camera and sort of thing. And it's this came out after those, and it sort of makes sense for the create the frantic nature sort of thing.
right.
Um, yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it, and then went to 28 years later. So I should
Oh, you saw it
emphasize
already.
a different word. The 28 years later. Yeah, the third one here, and I did
Just
see
give
it.
us like thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay, well, let's. Okay, ultimately, thumbs up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Worth a look see.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if you like the first two, you should see this one.
Okay.
That's so. Um,
I did not
yeah,
like the
I won't
first
say
one.
more.
I did like the
Okay,
second one.
okay.
Interesting.
See,
So
I'm
I
in.
will
I'm
probably.
in that camp too, where I like. I mean, I like the first one, but I like the second one more, and I think that's uncommon. That most people are like, "Well, I really like the first one, and then the second one,
Oh,
not as much." What?
I don't
I
remember how
still
I
can't get
feel.
over the ninja pill.
Uh,
The
I don't
ninja
remember how
pill.
I. Yeah, I don't know what that is, and I don't remember how I feel about the first one. But I
Ninja
remember
pill is
liking
my
the sequel.
description of any movie where the guy is a complete wimp through the whole movie until they steal his woman, and then he's like Popeye, and he takes
Oh,
spinach, and
Oh,
now this complete
ready to
wimp
fight.
takes out a Green Beret commando unit who had previously demonstrated their ability to bullseye everything they shot at, But now that he is scorned and trying to save his woman, they are stormtrooper accurate.
Gotcha.
And he's able to kill them all with his lover's rage. It's
Okay.
like he popped a ninja pill and suddenly becomes a master of stealth and is remorseless in his killing.
Okay.
Gotcha.
No,
Fair.
not buying
I'll
it.
I'll have to rewatch that one
Yeah, I don't remember it
too, I
very well.
guess. Just remember the doctor being in it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm, Eccleston. But
Yeah. Yeah.
no, the new 28 years later, it's supposedly all shot on iPhones. I wanted to see if I
Mhm.
noticed that or whatever, but I guess it keeps you know, it tonally feels like the others then, I think because of it, possibly. But it's well acted. It's not too long. It really sets up some kind of lore almost, or like provides questions because this is supposed to be a trilogy now, if this does well. So
Oh, no, we're going to go centuries. What's
I don't know.
next?
I don't think they're gonna do the
Decades,
jump like that.
28 decades later?
If I was guessing, they're not gonna do the same kind of jump. But yeah. I love everybody's take on what would happen. I love that these zombies are different too, that
Hmm.
they're not dead. They're infected. They have the rage
Mhm.
virus. So they
Mhm.
have to breathe, they have to eat, those sorts
Yep.
of things. They can't just sustain themselves forever. They're not lusting for brains. They're lusting for violence. Just, you know. Um, so yeah, I like that. The most terrifying zombies.
Mm.
Fast, little bit
Mhm.
of thought process left there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So okay. That's pretty much been my week. A couple other things, but we'll get on to the main event here.
The
Um,
meat.
yeah, X-Men. So let Alan know. I'll type it in here too in case he's around. That's what we're gonna say. Spoilers, and we need slides. Um, let's talk about where you guys come into X-Men before we jump into the show. Like Pete, what's your history with X-Men? Have you seen the previous cartoon, the original,
Yep.
was comes before this, all that sort of thing?
So I read Marvel comics as a kid growing up. Watched the Marvel cartoons, the Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends. In even before that, they had some maybe some Avengers and other really bad animation. So when X-Men the animated series came out, I thought I was in college. Like I should have outgrown it by then. I felt, and it was so good. I mean, it was on Fox, animated for kids, right?
Mhm.
So you couldn't have the violence, and it was very cheaply made. Um,
Mhm.
but they dove into the stories and they did them justice to the best of their
Mhm.
ability, given all the constraints financially and being G rated. And I was hooked. I It
Mhm.
was must see TV to the point where my girlfriend at the time was watching it with me, and she got into it, and she had zero interest in anything comic book or superhero, and then let alone watching cartoons. But she really dug Rogue's voice, and they had really good stories. So, um, big fan of that. And then when the movies came out, saw them in the theater, except for maybe the Wolverine.
Mm.
Um, and when Disney Plus came along, one of the selling points is you can watch X-Men the animated series anytime you want. I'm like, for $7 a month or $13 a month or whatever the introductory price was, $70 a year, whatever it was. I was like, and I can watch X-Men whenever I want, even though I'm a father of three. That still had some appeal to me. Maybe I could watch it with my girls. They watched it a little bit. So when X-Men 97 was announced, I quickly rewatched like the last 3 seasons, I think, just to like get familiar, reacquaint myself with it. Because I think that on Fox, it got switched around a lot, where it was
Mhm.
uh, like a 3 o'clock afternoon, maybe Monday through Friday, they would show it, or once a week. And then it was switched to Saturdays, and then it was all over the place, and you couldn't keep up with it. So I think I missed several episodes. So I wanted to go back and watch it. And then 97 comes along and picks up where the original series left off, and stunned, John. I felt like it had matured with me. And I thought the original series was hard hitting. Maybe hard hitting is an exaggeration, but this one just took my breath away. Like every episode, I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, the positives, like showcasing several X-Men characters in ways that they were never showcased before. Like the opening episodes, just showing exactly.
Oh, I can't hear you now, Mike. What happened here? Can you hear him? That me?
No, I can hear you, but you're really distant.
He's just getting to.
Yeah, just talking about Cyclops.
Cyclops. All right. Well,
Oh, there you're back. There you're back. There you're back.
I had to borrow my hearing aid from my production assistant. She was listening in over there in the wings, having fun. So yeah, but just showcasing what Cyclops could do. He was a guy who before he would just shoot his optic blasts, and it seemed like it was like laser beam, but no, it's kinetic force. So showing what it could do, it's like moving him around, and he's showcasing his martial arts skills. And then the plane blows up, and everybody's like, "Oh, how are we gonna do this?" And they react calmly, and everybody gets someone who can help them that can fly. And Cyclops is like, "I can take care of myself," and he apparently has like the
Superhero landing.
strongest neck, but he's got the strongest neck muscles because he has this blast, and it doesn't like snap his head around. He's like, "No, I can control my rate of descent with my optic blast." So I don't know if it's practical, but it worked, and it looked really damn cool. And yeah, superhero landing. So I loved that, and I loved that they continued to go back to the source material, and they didn't shy away from some tough uh,
Mhm.
events. So
Mhm.
what the good things they showed off, uh, the powers like Nightcrawler, amazing to see him in action. But then, geez, with Genosha, just I can't
Oh,
believe they did that.
All right. Very good. Yes, I want to get into a lot of that. But Andrea, first, your history a bit with X-Men.
yeah. I was a large cartoon watcher as a kid, like middle school into high school, and would race home for afternoon cartoons, and would get up and just like devote a Saturday morning to cartoons, and that's where I got introduced to a lot of things. But namely X-Men, absolute favorite of every cartoon. I would sacrifice every other chance to watch a cartoon for X-Men. I just thought it was amazing. I had no previous knowledge of any of the characters, the stories, nothing. I hadn't read comics. I had no context. But luckily fell in at the very first episode and then just was absolutely hooked. I loved the stories. I loved the characters. And since then, I mean, I've read some comics, but I haven't delved too deeply into the comic book lore. Just I love the original show so much. That's just kind of always like been where my heart is in those depictions of the characters. Watched the movies and have been, surprised and disappointed at things that have happened in the, live action universe. Some characters I think are spot on. Some movies are spot on, and then some
They're
are
hit and miss for sure.
tough to watch. Some are really tough to watch. So yeah. So there's, kind of been an up and down relationship with X-Men for a while. And then I was really excited to see X-Men 97 announced and just like devoured the whole thing immediately. Just fell in love with everything. Well, almost everything, because there's one major event in here that just like devastated my heart and soul. Um, and John knows it. John knows exactly which one
I'm
I'm talking
sure,
about.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, no, I agree, Pete. Like I couldn't believe like the emotional range of this storytelling. Everything, so many pieces fit together so well, from the like highs of incredible battles, just seeing like the characters represented the way that, they were as of yore in my memory. Um, but then yeah, to like these crushing emotional lows where you're just devastated by the storytelling, but in a really great way as an audience, where you just feel like, wow, it's amazing that this can affect me so much. So I have a couple of little nitpicks with the show, but I think overall, like A plus storytelling.
Nice. Yeah, this is X-Men was actually the first thing that Andrew and I connected over. Like,
Mhm.
when
Oh,
I
yeah.
first met you,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know how X-Men and Gambit came up, but yeah,
Yeah.
I always remember that, so, um, but yeah,
Yep,
it's
Rogan Gambit were always my favorite.
X-Men. Yeah, how I mean, understandable. It's a lot of people's favorite. I, um, I X-Men for me was like my main comic book. I have a couple long boxes full X-Men comics. My first comic that I can remember ever having is an X-Men comic. I'm sure I brought
Ooh,
it out on the podcast
yeah.
before. It's
Mhm.
like torn to shreds for me reading it so many times. But that art style, those characters, particularly of the late 80s, early 90s, really like cemented my taste in comic book art and
Mhm.
storytelling and the drama that X-Men had over things that were less interesting to me, like Avengers or JLA or something like that. So, um, and then when the movies came along, it's just excited that they were doing some movies, and like you say, hit and miss. And the cartoon, everybody gives Batman the animated series. They're like, oh, when was peak human civilization? Batman the animated series, but
To be
X
fair,
Men
that
gets
is really good.
it's really
Yeah,
good, but
it
X
is
Men gets
good.
forgotten.
It is really good. Yes,
I think X
yes,
Men gets forgotten
overlooked
for
unfairly.
I think for a couple reasons. One, because Marvel, once they started having success with their own movies, they tried kind of burying X-Men. Like X-Men, people
It happened.
forget that like the biggest superhero properties, it was like Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, Superman. Like that was it. Like Wolverine was right up there with all the
Mhm,
rest. And then when Marvel's like, hey, we can, put out Iron Man, we can do all this stuff, but we don't have the rights to the X-Men. Well, to hell with that. And so we kind of got years of wasted time, in X-Men land or whatever. And the
Well, there was a
cartoon,
mandate. They wouldn't invest in no new characters with the X-Men because the reasoning was, why would we develop a new character in a property we don't own, so we couldn't capitalize on the success of, say, a Deadpool, if he the movie rights to that character belonged to another company.
yep,
So any new characters had to go to properties that were owned by the MCU.
mhm.
yep. The thing is, the properties were still owned by Marvel, just not the movie rights, you know.
Right. Well,
S-
why would
And
if you
But
could
I
make
mean,
$1 billion film, right?
yeah, if
that's a sticky wicket. Like I get their logic there. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
I t-
am I disappointed? Yes, but like logically, I understand why this wasn't like a prime place for development and where they weren't going to throw their money.
It's just like one of those things that they'd fostered, maybe even licensed out to anime companies or whatever, like rode that train and got like those things can be more popular, and the toys they sell off of that can be more popular than some movie where they mess around with the characters a whole bunch and do something that, is maybe good and maybe awful. Like, yes, I understand their reasoning. I just like they're missing the point here when you could have, great comic books, great cartoons, great video games. There's your
Mhm.
biggest thing right there. And then make toys and merch and posters and party things and
Yeah.
all this stuff for that. We just went to a friend's kid's birthday party that was for the little Spider-Man cartoon, whatever, on Disney Plus. They have no
Yeah.
context for any of their stuff, but and now our kids love that too, They're
Yeah.
web shooting all over the place. There's no, so that's money being made off this, not off the other thing, and
Mhm.
so just I don't know. It's unfortunate. They did the same thing to Fantastic Four. Then they get Fantastic Four rights back. And then okay, now we can do stuff with the comic book again and all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So, I get it. It's just too bad. And my point
Yeah.
being, it's with X-Men the animated series before was I think it gets overlooked because the animation is not good. Like you say, with the constraints they had, the stories are good. The character design is good. They went off of the comic books. All that stuff is great. It just doesn't look as pretty as Batman the animated series. Doesn't move as well, and so
Yeah,
Yep.
people just
they clearly have to save their money for the big moments. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like the everyday, run of the mill villain fighting episodes aren't like you said, aren't as pretty. But when you save up your money for like Phoenix and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
that's what you have to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, they had big problems getting that first season made with the animation company.
Yep.
It was part of the reason why it took a while for it to take off is because they
Mhm.
showed the first episode, and then I think it was like weeks or maybe months later before they could show the next
Mm.
2 or 3 episodes because there were so many delays. The other thing about, and I'm old enough to remember this, the X-Men cartoons were after school, whereas Batman was prime time.
Mm.
It was
Mhm.
on a Monday night, Sunday night, or whatever. So it was not. It was supposed to be not just for kids.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
And then it quickly went to, oh, I guess more kids are watching this than adults. So then it did go to Saturdays and weekdays after school. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, then I was behind. You guys watched this a long time ago when it came out,
Mhm.
X Men '97, and this gone down this whole big rabbit hole again since getting Disney Plus for Daredevil, and you know, this is this has been the best thing Marvel's made since I'm not sure when. Like, I mean, and I'm biased because I love X-Men, but this is
mhm.
absolutely what I
Really
want to
good.
see. I'm all over this. If they were just keep going here and I never had to see another X-Men live action, I'd be perfectly happy with it. This is I'm good with
Mhm.
this. And it was just a really solid season. 10 episodes. We covered a lot of territory. We
Mhm.
covered a lot of different X-Men. They didn't do the thing like the X-Men movies ended up evolving into this like, well, Wolverine's a popular one, so he's got to be the main character. And then, oh, well, like we're having this big actress play Mystique, so now Mystique has to be like this main character.
Right.
And just like where are we going here? This is very strange. And so they didn't have any of those sort of fall into those temptations of, well, here's this fan favorite, so we got to give them a ton of screen time or whatever. In fact,
Right.
we take, a fan favorite, spoilers, we hit Andrea's moment and we kill him.
Son of a bitch. Oh, it
So
hurt me so bad. It hurt me so bad.
Yep.
that's
And I
that
and I
was
knew and I knew the second it was a double murder. So, spoiler again, Magneto also dies in this scene where Gambit dies. I knew one of them was gonna come back. I knew it, and I was like, "It's gonna be the wrong one," and it was. It was.
It it was so well done. Like, I so the
It
idea
was.
that,
I
like,
mean, it's absolutely soul crushing and beautiful and awful, but yeah, no,
yeah,
wrong
me too.
person.
The biggest moment is, like, poor little leech, the Murloc leech, says
Yeah,
that Magneto tells him, "I'm not gonna have to be scared anymore." And the poor kid is clinging on to Magneto as he's, like, holding back the blasts and makes eye contact with Rogue for one more time, and then holy shit. So
yeah.
good. So
And
good.
then we get to see Rogue Unleashed. Oh, never
Yeah.
got to
Yep.
see her fully manifest her powers on screen like that. So that was awesome
Yeah,
to see.
and what fun to have her do that, not only against,
Captain
kind of
America.
exactly, like, they did cameos in a really great way throughout.
Yeah,
Like, there was a lot of sprinkling of other MCU. I mean, General Ross, Captain America, Iron Man was in the Situation Room as they're watching this, like, asteroid blow up at the
Asteroid
end.
M, yeah.
Asteroid M, yeah. So, I mean, so many great, like, nods and references to other aspects, but nothing that, like, took over and nothing that was obnoxious, you know?
Yeah. You know, a cartoon like this, I think a fun place to have a lot of these little cameos, and it made sense. You're on Genosha, it makes sense you'd see mutants going by and some of that. Oh, look, it's him. Oh,
yeah,
there's the Blob. It's like all kinds of people
Right.
yes, that
intermixed.
was
They
cool.
add some of the new ones in there. They got
Mhm.
magic and armor and whatever. It's just a whole bunch
Hellfire
of them. Why
Club
not?
hanging out with the Morlocks. What's going on?
Y-
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, um, I didn't feel like any of that's yeah, right. I don't think it was good. That was gratuitous. It made sense. Um,
Ah,
it makes
it was great
sense.
fan service. Loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when we get and when in the end when we get when they're showing Daredevil and like Cloak and Dagger and some of that, it's one of those things where are these other people? So you have this
Yeah,
big event going on. Makes
Mhm.
sense to show them dealing with something here and there.
Right.
It's,
Right, but,
so
like, the restraint was done well, like, yeah, Captain America shows up and Rogue's like, "Tell me what you know," and he's like, "Ah, but my hands are tied," so it's like, okay, that's why he's not in this event. Or, like, like I said, Iron Man just watching in the Situation Room, like, being like, "Oh my god, like, we did the thing, and now I'm watching the fallout." Like, yes, I am
yep,
here, and also yet I am not, this is why I'm not involved directly.
yep,
Because, yeah, I feel like it always begs the question when you watch movies or TV shows where like, multiple superheroes are intertwined, you're always like, "But where's
yeah,
the other guy?"
yep,
Like, "Where are these people?" Or, like, using Morph to showcase even more of, like, the X-Men, well-known and lesser known, plus also at the end, the
yeah.
Hulk. Super
God, how good
fun.
was that
Mr.
used?
Fantastic.
Yep,
Yeah, Mr.
Morph was used
Fantastic.
great.
Yes, so well done,
It
so
kept
well done.
tricking me though, because for like a quarter second, several times, you'd be like, "Wait, where'd you get?" Oh, it's Morph. That's
Yeah,
like,
it's Morph.
Yes, yeah, great.
But that's, like
yeah,
that's why
Well,
it's so well done because they did it so
yeah,
flawlessly that you were like, "What? Oh,
yeah,
Morph. Okay."
I loved it. Like they're falling out of the airplane. It's like I'm just going to turn into Angel. I'm like, yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly what he's going to do.
hmm,
exactly. And
yep,
he's done it because, like, this has all been practiced before. Everybody's so, like, calm. They're like, "We do this,"
yep,
assume the
In the
right,
positions,
danger room. Yeah,
everybody's yeah, right?
yeah.
Everybody's, like, all up, got their, "Hey, this is my buddy. I'm the wings. You're the guy I catch," or whatever, so, yeah.
See, and this has so much more. uh like we're talking about how they got to showcase a lot of different characters in different
Mhm.
ways, really show their powers and
Yeah.
fun stuff that is done naturally, unlike something like Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, where I complain about all the time ad nauseum, where it's just like
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
throwing just excuses to throw people in combat together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This all made sense. I'd never really seen Mr. Sinister fight.
Mhm.
yeah,
Like He's always in the shadows, he's plotting, he's cool, he's creepy, but never
It's
actually
great.
do combat. It's like,
Mhm.
yes, that's great. That was really
Mhm.
cool. Um, I the drama with like Madeline Pryor, like reading that in the
Mm.
comics and some of that and knowing that stuff is cool, but like seeing that happen and how that would like
Yeah.
they dealt with the drama and the issues of all the different or a couple different like story arcs and things really well. So like,
Mhm.
Jean Grey being replaced, not knowing when,
Yeah.
feeling like having the memory that she was there but wasn't. It was Madeline. Um that stuff is all that was
Mhm.
handled really well. And yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, and then finding a place for Madeline that made sense where, she was always going to leave because she was looking to leave, so it didn't feel like Scott really had to make a choice, Like, there were very clear motivations. She was, like, a separate person with her own desires, and she's like, "Well, now that I know I'm, like, a fully separate person, I can go do this thing," but she ended up on, Genosha,
Genosha. Yeah.
which made a lot of sense for her.
Uh-huh.
And she even
Yep.
got to a place where she could make jokes about being, like, the extra gene, like, it just yeah, everything was just so well thought out, and then, obviously, when the attack on Genosha happened, emotionally devastating because we had
Yeah.
spent time with her, and we, both knew her as, like, this person, but also, Cable's mother, who had already gone through something devastating and having to give him up,
Yeah.
only to be
And then the
reunited and torn
fun
apart. Like,
little
so many layers of devastation at Genosha.
and the fun little like thing we get with that I assume we'll get to more is Cable's like I'm thinking there's like fixed moments in time basically like a Doctor Who kind
Yeah,
of thing where some I
you
keep
can't
trying to
change it.
change something and it won't work. I keep getting pulled out to the last second and all that sort of weird stuff.
Mhm.
So that's cool too. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
for sure, for sure.
um, Andrew, what were your gripes? You said you had a couple little
Oh,
something.
Oh, yeah, I
Be the
mean,
buzzkill.
they were really, I mean, overall, they were small things. Um, like, sometimes, Magneto would talk about himself in the 3rd person, and he repeated the phrase, I don't know how many times throughout the season. He'd be like, "You've surprised the master of magnetism," or "The
yeah.
master of magnetism does." I was like, "Could you just, like, stop?" Like,
I don't
please?
remember that. I
Oh
don't.
my god,
The
he did it,
master of
like,
magnetism will do what the master of magnetism wants. Love it.
yeah,
In
That's
third person.
true. Mhm.
it was just so, like, wild to me. I was like, "Please stop saying this about yourself."
He used to do
Um,
that when he was the prime bad guy in the comics, though, that he would talk about
I
himself in the
know, but
third person.
it was just
Yeah.
one time too many in a short season. It was just really odd to hear aloud. And he would say it in, like, very odd situations. So I was like, please don't do that. I really need you to not do that. Um, I did have, like, a hard time, uh, with Rogue's kind of brief dalliance with Eric. You know,
The love triangle.
I knew where it was coming
That's
from,
y
and I mean,
your emotions cloud your judgment, Andrea.
I know, but, like, I did have a hard time with it just because I knew, like, how much it would hurt Gambit, and it was so right out there for, like, everyone to see, and it was just, like, a little odd to know that she, like, loved Gambit and then also was like, "Maybe I'll be a queen and I'll, like, dance super sexy and make out with Magneto right in front of you." Like, that felt a little weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt a
Yep.
Sure,
little in your face
sure.
for someone
Yeah.
she cares about. So, did I understand the push and pull? Yes. Did I understand, like, the draw to, like, lead into a new future and her, like, very full, I don't know, like, full cup and, like, kind of joy and exaltation in the idea of Genosha? For sure. That scene just felt really weird.
Okay. Sure. It's fair. It's fair. Um, yeah, with Magneto, I know we don't have too much time here left, but whatever we
Mhm.
can squeeze in. Magneto, he that's a difficult thing always to balance that he's your enemy, he's your friend, like,
Mhm.
and I think they did that pretty well. Like, the
Mhm.
X-Men were like upset, how can we possibly trust you, this sort of thing. But that's been an interesting element to Magneto always, is that,
Yeah.
he's not just a straight up evil dude, he has his own logic and how he gets into
Mhm.
where he does, and his relationship with Charles is always good. And
Mhm.
yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And like if you're watching this scene here, where he's basically at sort of trial, and he has the opportunity to he sort of takes the time to like, look, I could just crush you right now, but I'm not going to. Like,
Mhm.
here's my, I liked the moments they didn't shy away from, again, Magneto's power and like how
Hmm.
incredibly OP he is. And it trying to make him give a
I'm sorry. What is he?
huh?
The master of
Oh, the master
magnetism?
magnetism. Yeah.
Yes,
He
you will refer to the master of magnetism as the
He's
master
not
of
overpowered,
magnetism.
John. He is the master of magnetism.
Oof.
yeah. uh I don't know. It was good. I like he gave a full 100% effort go into trying, Charles's vision.
Mhm.
And I like seeing Charles there with Elandra, and then he's like
Yeah, the GR.
kind of getting pushed around, and then he's finally like, all right, class is in
School.
session. I kind of like
School
I said
time.
something audible at that. I'm like, that's
Mhm.
right. You put these guys in their place. That
Yes.
so that was fun. So when they get to see Gladiator, they just
Hmm.
let him loose a little bit. That was good. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really just I don't have complaints. I just solid all the way around. Good voice
Mhm.
cast. It was a little like, I have the voices of some other people from the original series in my head, so it's
Yeah.
hard to
It's
not hear
close. It's
that.
not identical, right?
Yeah,
So,
Yep.
you know,
They did bring
but
a couple people in, but yeah,
mhm.
I mean, you
mhm.
can't score 100 on that, so but yeah, it was close.
Apparently the
It was close enough.
voice actor for Cable was the original voice actor for Gambit.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't hear that
No.
at all. That's what
No,
Ashley
I
said when she
didn't
was
hear.
looking it up, because she was like looking at some different voices, who was what. But yeah. So, well, Pete, did you have any complaints? Any issues?
I just the Madeline Pryor. I wasn't a big fan in the comic books, and they did it justice in this, but I'm like, well, I wasn't a favorite of that. I thought it was kind of wonky. I wish they would have set up why she was named the Goblin Queen. It just seemed like out of nowhere, you will call me the
Sure.
Goblin Queen. Like,
Right.
why are we doing that?
Mhm.
Um, the sidestep with Storm and the Owl Demon was kind of a
Mm.
curveball, but
It was a curveball, but it looked cool.
look cool. Yeah. But again, like Andrea said, nitpicking, loved it.
Mhm.
When I found out I was
It's
going to be on this
small.
podcast, rewatched it, loved it just the same. What I don't know is if Morph is a shape changer, or if when he becomes the Hulk, he has the Hulk strength. When he
He does.
becomes Psylocke, suddenly he gets swords out of nowhere. When he
He
becomes
does.
Colossus, he's organic steel. So is that, talk about overpowered? Holy smokes!
They the only way I know that is because they say that in, like, those little character profiles they do at the end credits, and
Oh,
Yeah, but
they say that specifically, and I just rewatched that.
well,
I
but
will
it,
have
what
to.
but say it like they gain their abilities is like
Yeah.
something physical abilities. So he
He
presumably couldn't become Professor Xavier and then go into your mind.
Ooh, I'd have to look at again the way the title card is worded because it says he gains their physical form and abilities.
Fortunately, we have
I think
Alan
it's
here, and he's
physical
going to
attributes.
Yeah,
figure it out in post production.
Yeah,
indeed,
I've been
indeed.
meaning to, like, read I wanna read because Ashley and I were talking about that, a lot too, I just haven't looked it up yet because I have to say I've really never read a X-Men comic with Morph in it that I can recall. Just was not
He
a
was more
character.
like Mystique, based on my recollections. He never got
Mhm.
powers. So that's when it made sense to me that if you become a guy with wings like Angel, then you should have the ability to fly. I go, I can go that
'Cause that's
far with you
physical
because you're
Yes.
body.
you're manifesting a limb, right?
Yeah,
Physical doesn't
Right.
require an enchanted hammer. So if he becomes Thor, does
right.
he control lightning? Does he have mutant, telepathic
Because it
powers if he becomes
seems too much.
Xavier?
It
It
seems too
does.
much,
It
and if it
does.
was that, then he would be I think they way underutilized him because he would get
Yep.
kind of,
Agreed.
hit and sort of knocked back to standard form or whatever too easily if you can, like, take on and be any member of the Avengers or
You
X-Men or
definitely didn't
whatever.
have those powers in the original series.
Right. It's more camouflage.
There
Okay,
is.
what's this?
Okay, he can't
Um,
replicate energy-based powers.
Okay.
okay. So he couldn't, like, use Cyclops' blasts, but that's why he'd be, like, Mr. Fantastic and he could stretch his arms.
I could get
Yeah,
behind that.
yeah, so he can manifest their physical abilities. So if you have, like, super strength, that's a physical ability that you could do, or, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's part
Mhm.
of your physical makeup, but he can't, like, gambit his way through, like, powering up physical objects or, like you said, like
Right.
Cyclops.
So power mimicry here it says superhuman strength, if they have it, Omega Red, Sabretooth, superhuman durability, like if you're
Yeah.
Colossus, winged flight, okay, yep, superhuman speed, so he was
Really?
Quicksilver, we saw
Hmm.
that, and
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
elasticity. So there's your, you know,
I guess Mr.
physical,
Sinister gave him a upgrade.
yeah, possible. Sometimes something happens and their
I yeah, I feel like this
powers
is
mutate.
like a decent balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you
no energy, no psychic.
Yeah.
So
No
you don't get
mystic.
telekinesis, yeah, you don't get incantations, you don't get yeah. Still
That's fair.
obviously
That's
very
fair.
powerful.
Yeah. Cause then what would be it would be like Rogue's power, but better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he could do all of
Well,
that,
Rogue
like
could do any though. She can absorb
but right,
any at a
but it would be
cost.
but it's at a cost. Like Morph doesn't
Yeah.
if he could do everything that,
Yeah.
anybody could do and absorb their powers and not have it come at a
Oh yeah,
cost,
if he could.
it's
Oh yeah,
Rogue's
if
power.
she could.
It's Rogue's
Absolutely.
power, but better.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's
yeah, so that's
interesting
why, like
because Rogue demonstrated a cool ability when the doctor refused, and this was a great scene, to deliver the baby under the pretense she was a mutant. And if,
yeah,
what if she lost control of her powers? Then my life would be at risk. I'm like, no, you're just being racist right now. And I loved
yeah,
that. And then Rogue touched him and absorbed his medical ability
knowledge,
yeah, so she could do that. That made sense. That was consistent with what we'd read in the comics and what we'd seen in
right.
media.
Yeah.
But could Morph do that? Is it only physical characteristics?
No, because he'd
Yeah,
have the dexterity and whatever else required,
right.
That's
but he wouldn't
fine,
have
You
but
the
he
have the
wouldn't.
knowledge.
know-how.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have the years of medical training.
Yep.
yep,
And so we were talking about that too. Like if you're Mr. Fantastic, obviously he's Mr. Fantastic every day and he'll be excellent at being bendy.
yeah.
Well, I guess if Morph needs to
But
train
does
and
that make him a
practice and get
rocket scientist?
no,
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 just
absolutely
makes
not.
him
Okay.
bendy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very flexible.
hmm
But still, like,
Okay.
still cool, like, I'd take it, it'd be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I could talk X-Men for a long time, but we gotta wrap it up. So we
Okay.
should do another X-Men a podcast sometime. just
Yes.
just like any week we're like, I don't know what to talk about. Let's just talk about X-Men, just whatever. We can always.
Well, John, when's the next season of the X-Men coming out? X-Men 97.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If it's
So
called if it's called X-Men 97.
yeah, I know it's gonna be X-Men 98. I don't know. I was
Mhm.
wondering that too. But supposedly it's coming out next year. There was
Yeah.
Boo.
originally they were talking about it coming out this year. Doesn't sound like that's happening. So
Mhm.
next year. Um yeah, I was really hoping it was, because I'd read one thing that was gonna be late 2025. It's like, oh yes, I again behooves me to wait on these so that my delay to the next season is lesser than everybody else's. But yeah, it's gonna be 2026.
Stay tuned, true believer.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous
Oh,
about
yeah. I mean, can
uh
you strike gold like this again? I don't know, but
well well, okay, so I mean, clearly you guys haven't seen what I've seen, which is the director for the first season of X-Men 97 was fired.
no, yes. So
Okay.
but apparently
Left the
he wrote
roadmap.
season 2. Yes.
Yep.
So
TBD on whether or not they're using it though,
well,
if
that's
he's
true. They
not
could
there.
change it up. That would be horrible, but yeah, potentially horrible.
Was he
Yeah.
fired
Yeah.
because season 2 sucked?
No, he was fired for allegations of some sort of misconduct. I don't
Ah,
know. I think it was pretty proven. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a while ago that happened. I was
Yeah.
like, God, why'd you have
unfortunate.
to do
I
something
Yeah.
know.
stupid if
Like,
that's the case? Uh, so
so it's so
I don't know. I'm
disappointing
not
to me
gonna
when
like.
people do something great, like productive
Yeah,
wise and like creatively at their job, and then they're like, "Hey, but I'm gonna turn around and be a shit person."
yeah.
Yeah, don't be
Gee,
an
I
asshole, you know?
I don't want to
yeah,
bury the guy because
exactly.
I don't know for sure. I don't remember how it went. I just know that's what was being made
Yeah.
claim. So um, hopefully season 2 is good, and hopefully they got someone else good working there that can keep it going
Maintain
forevermore
the
or for a
excellence.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to show you guys quickly this fun deck of cards I have from my childhood. Oh
Love.
man, look right here is we got Gambit.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
X-Men playing cards that are really
Love it.
nice. Archangel. Um, and then recently got back from my old house. Here is Wolverine, the like shampoo bottle.
I was gonna say the shampoo
So
Love
bottle
it.
topper.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
so old school. I love it.
so I think my first Halloween I was Wolverine.
All right.
Okay, all right. Well, Pete, why don't you tell everybody find your works, your
Well, let
writing.
me bring in my production assistant, Dylan. Will you come here for a second? She's been listening to X-Men talk all night. Put the blanket down. And she helped with the lighting. And then hold this up there for product placement so all the fans can see. If you're interested in a book that you haven't read already, Vampire Autopsy. What's that? The cover, what? All right. Yes, the color scheme is very similar to John's Cyclops. Well, come here. Hi.
There
All
we
right.
go.
And
This
our
is Dylan.
logo.
Yeah. You say hi. Get in the camera. Why are you hiding? All right. Yes. Vampire Autopsy by Peter J. Gilbertson, available on Amazon in
Mhm.
paperback, digital format, and audio books. So if you're looking for an audio book, going on a road trip
Audiobook
this
now.
summer,
What?
Amazon contacted me and me only and said, Peter J. Gilbertson, we have an
You must.
opportunity for you.
You must.
Your books are so much fun. We would love to have our AI robots read them to people. So it did. Yeah. So you can buy an audio copy read by the latest AI. Skynet is taking over. So
Yeah.
rather than paying an actual person a wage to breathlessly read my words, we can just have a robot do it and
Cool.
instead. So
Fun.
We just talked about how X-Men had a great voice cast, and then at the end of this podcast, I say their jobs are being taken by robots. They'll soon have AI writing scary stories, so we'll all be out of a job. But that's another podcast.
The Sentinels are here.
They are.
Very good. All right, excellent. Yes, everybody go check that out. Peter J. Gilbertson. And then with our stuff, just make sure you like, share, subscribe in all the applicable places, podcast directories, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube, Twitch, X, all that sort of thing.
I know. I should have had the mat finish.
Killing the Flower. You should check them out for our themes. They wrote our theme song. They're on music streaming services. So take a look, see there. And otherwise, we'll probably be back next week with, I'm guessing, an anime episode. Finally, we're about to be getting a onslaught of different anime that's coming back. Kaiju number 8, Don season 2. All that stuff is starting up very soon. So shortly, within a couple weeks. So we'll be back on that stuff for sure. But and then on this podcast, I don't know. Stay tuned in case we just like jump on and talk more X-Men sometime. I'll be going probably to F1 movie at some point. And yeah, and if you guys see 28 years later, we can talk about that too. So
it's a possibility. I am interested, so I'll let you know.
Same.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody. Andrea, Pete, thanks for joining me, and we'll see everybody next time.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. Cheers, everybody.
Hey, Chris.